Alright, so here's the situation. You've made this end graphic so many times with just little tiny tweaks, it's driving you insane. And you wish there was some way that you can edit this, just the text or the color, within Premiere. Well, consider your wish granted with Essential Graphics. Now, the Essential Graphics window is a semi-new feature in After Effects that allows you to transport a bunch of properties that you would normally edit in After Effects over into Premiere and create a template. So this template can be this end graphic, it can be a lower third, it can be a title card. The options are kind of endless. So let's see how this works. What we want to do is we want to isolate the properties that we want to manipulate within Premiere and simplify the settings right here so that we only have what we need. So let's define what we need first. We're gonna want the color of these call out boxes and circles. We're gonna want to control the font and color of these elements. We want to make sure that we can switch between black and white on this logo. And then we want to change the background. So let's tackle those one by one. Now, for the call out circle and square, it's fairly simple. We just have to find the properties that are driving those colors. So let's go to subcircle outline and video rectangle outline and type in color. Now we can see the stroke color is white here and the fill color is white here, and those are the properties driving this particular thing. So all you have to do, grab this property, drag it up here, and now from up in the Essentials Graphics window, you can change the color. Now, how do we get this to also drive this as well? All we do is pick whip the fill color onto the stroke color, and now it's parented to both. And it's gonna automatically drive both. So let's just change the name of this to call out color. Done. Now, how can you tell which properties you can and can't bring up here? Sometimes it's a little murky. So what we can do is we can press this solo supported properties and see all the different kinds of properties that we can bring up. Just know that if any of your properties have keyframes on them already and you bring them up here, the keyframes are going to be ignored in Premiere and you're going to lose the animation that you've created on them. So probably don't want to bring those up. That's why we're going to be using a lot of expressions in this tutorial. Alright, next we want to dynamically be able to change the text here. So that text layer is this video header. We'll go down into source text, drag it up, and now we'll rename this video header. And now you can see there's a text box here where we can change what's being written up here. So let's say catch us here, or more videos, whatever you want to put in. Let's just keep it at watch more videos. Now if we click this edit properties, we can open up a couple more source text properties, including the font and the font size and the faux styles, which is like faux bold, faux italics. We'll just do font for now. Press OK. And now from this Essential Graphics, we can change the font to anything that you have access to, basically, on the computer that you're using. So let's just keep it there for now. Now let's go to the fill color. Now the fill color of the font or the text is living within this source text, and it's a little bit complicated to get there. So let's use this arrow to drive the fill and outline colors. Now let's start with the outline colors, just because I did them kind of the same way on all three of these layers, which is to say I made all the outline colors with the stroke on layer styles. So it's fairly simple. We're going to use the arrow as the driver, so we just simply pick whip the stroke color, and now bring this stroke color up here, and now you can see all three are changing in the video. I'll just go back there, name this outline color, and we'll do the thickness next. Now the thickness, I just happen to know, called size under the layer style stroke. Oops. Do size here too, and we'll do the same thing. Easy peasy. We'll rename this line thickness. And it's important to kind of label your stuff, just in case these templates go off to anybody else but yourself. You'll know exactly, or they will know exactly, like what is controlling what. In fact, let's edit this range a little bit so that they don't go too crazy. We'll keep this between, let's say, 3 and 8. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, looks good. Awesome. Now let's get to the weird part. How do we drive the color of this fill with the fill color of the arrow? Now, the white arrow is actually its stroke color. Under here, shape 1 stroke color. And we're going to need to write an expression in the source text of the video header. Now don't worry if you can't keep up with this, just because it's a little bit of a newer aspect of the source text and the expressions that you can put on it. Just follow along for now, and then look out for a later video where we dive deeper into, text and everything you can do with it. So write style, properties, set fill color, and in this value here, we're just going to pick whip that color here. And then now, if we change this, perfect. One more thing, this subscribe, how do we tie it up to this font and this fill color? Well, simple. All we're gonna do is subscribe, open up source text, click Alt, we're going to create style, and then just add on the properties that we want. So the properties of fill color, we'll do the same way. And then we'll also add text properties. Set font. And for the value, we'll pick whip this source text dot style dot font. Great. Now it's hooked up. And don't worry if you didn't follow that. The main point I'm trying to make is to make sure that you're parenting the properties that you want to each other, and then bringing only one of them up here. Actually, in fact, we need to bring the stroke color up here. We'll call it fill. Change it back to white. Great. Now let's do a little bit of formatting by adding a group. What this does is it just allows us to be a little bit neater in this essential graphics window. So we'll just drag most of the things that we made into this little group, and we can hide it out. See, now all our text properties are right here. Great. Next is the logo. We want to make sure that we have an easy way to turn it from white as it is here, or when there's a background that's lighter, we can turn it black. And really, within the guidelines, those are the only two colors it should be. So how do we do that? Well, luckily for us, this logo actually already is black, and we just put a color overlay on top of it to make it white. So all we're going to do is we're going to add a checkbox effect, or a checkbox control on it. Set the create an expression on the opacity if the checkbox is 1 or on, then the opacity is 100, else 0. Great. So now if we check, if the checkbox is on, then the opacity is at 100 and it means it's white. If the checkbox is off, the opacity is 0 and it's black. So all we have to do is drag this checkbox up here. We'll call it logo black or white. And we can easily toggle it on and off. Now, we're going to do one more thing, just to show you it has this functionality. What we've done is we've created a drop-down menu of looks for this background here, where there's mountains, there's bokeh, stars, graffiti. All we're going to do is we're just going to drag that menu over. So let's open it up in here, get the menu, and you can see now within this essential graphics there's a drop-down menu. We'll go further into it in another video, but just know that with the new drop-down functionality, you can utilize it within essential graphics to make this motion graphics template so much nicer. We'll just put this, just call it background looks. And especially if you're making a template for an editor or for somebody that you don't know, maybe you're selling it, you're creating templates to sell, this is a good way to kind of limit a person's limit the different types of looks, or give them different options of what and collapse all those options within just a drop down menu. I added a custom thing here just so that we can, if they're not happy with these looks, we can just also add in the actual properties that we're messing with. Just know that the properties are controlled by an expression, and changing the property's value in essential graphics will have no effect if the expression overrides the property's value or keyframes. So that's fine. We kind of built it so that to take that into consideration. And all we're going to do is we're going to put in this background picker, this background color, and you'll see here this background picker, we can change it, and we can change the color depending on, you know, what we might like, we might want to tune in. But there's also this drop down that'll override these two things. Now, let's add that into a group, saying background. Great. Now, I just want to mention one more thing. If you want to add a comment, you do that from here. And let's just add to go. This is a great way to set limitations or just communicate any weird issues that you might have on here that you don't want people to like mess around with or anything like that. So now that we've got our Essentials Graphics window set up, let's name this and screen 1 and export it. Yeah, let's save. Now, there's a couple places you can export this. By default, you can save it to your local templates folder, which, you know, you might as well do if you're going to be using the template within the same computer, because then it'll automatically go into where the templates will be in Premiere. However, you can also save it onto your local drive if you want to export it out to or email it to other people, or if you just want to customize where you're saving it. For now, let's do the local templates folder. Press OK, and I'll see you over in Premiere. All right, now that we're in just a blank Premiere project, let's see how we can find that motion graphics template that we made. So just like in After Effects, you can go into Window and open up the Essential Graphics window, which will bring up, here, let's bring this over here. It'll bring up all the templates that Adobe has kind of created for you. All we need to do is look for the one that we created. So it's called End Screen. There it is, End Screen 01. So let's bring this into the timeline and change the sequence settings so that it matches. And play through. Oh, okay, there we go. We'll play through, and there we go. Just like how we had it in After Effects. Now, if we go into Effects Control with a clip selected, all the properties that we brought in are going to be here. So Just like in After Effects, we can change the video to, or we can change the text. We can change the color of the callouts. Let's say a darker color like that. We can change the outline thickness. Let's say 8. The logo, black or white. There's a checkbox here. The background to the mountains or bokeh, etc., etc. And even the comment came over. So even with all this functionality, the best part about this is that you can go in here and duplicate, and each of these are their own instances. So you can change the text here, and it doesn't change over here. So you can completely customize your look here. You can change everything, all these settings, and it doesn't affect your initial copy of the end screen. So this is great for lower thirds, where you can just duplicate each template and just change what you need to and not have to worry about re-rendering the same thing with different text. You don't have to worry about these settings being changed across the project, which can get frustrating. And you save yourself so much time by just setting this up on the front end and not having to think about it anymore. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out all the other videos we have on Moviola.com, and I'll see you later.